multi-strand bracelet. Now, I've had a request from one of our viewers because she was interested to know what's the best way to do that. Hi, Brandy. Hi, Beth. Excuse me. A little bit of a croup there. I have to get a little bit of water. And there are a number of ways to end multi-strand bracelets. And we're going to discuss a few of them here in just a little bit. We're going to wait for a few minutes till some more folks come on. And we'll just discuss a few things. Now, my husband was supposed to be at home this evening, but he's a little concerned that he might not be because they've been canceling flights right and left lately, and his original flight home got canceled. So he redid the flights, and then one of those got canceled. So he had to redo them again, and by the time he went to bed last night, he had rescheduled his flights 4 times. This morning he had to reschedule again. And so and now he's saying that one of his connections is going to be so tight he's not sure he's going to make it. So because one of the plane has already been scheduled is going to be late, one of them. So it's interesting times. But if he's not home tonight, then we'll get him tomorrow. Since tomorrow's a holiday, it's not something he has to worry about as far as work is concerned, though quite frankly, as far as I'm concerned, why worry about work when they're not paying him anyway? But that's just me. But anyway, hi Tina. Hi Anita. So anyway, I'm not sure. I have had a couple of calls from him already this morning saying that hopefully he'll make it in tonight, but he's just not sure because of the way the flights are going. Every time he gets one rescheduled, one of them cancels. One of the arms of them cancels. And the last one ended up with 3 layovers instead of the original just one that he was supposed to have, and and now he's saying one of those looks like it might get canceled. So headache city, but that's the way it goes. We'll get him home sooner or later. But hey Georgina, so anyway, I have been asked to discuss endings on multi-strand bracelets. Now, the lady that asked me for them is not on yet. If she's going to come on, I'm not sure she will be. Hopefully she will be. And even if she's not, we're going to discuss it. She can always watch the replay. And so I have 3 different ways that I will generally end a multi-strand bracelet. And those ways are with the clasp, because you can get multi-strand clasps with a bead cap where you feed your multi-strands into a bead cap at the end and then turn it into a single there. Or with a ring where you attach all strands to a ring on either side and then use the ring to proceed from there. So let's turn down and we'll look at some of those things. So this is a multi-strand, 3 strands to be exact, slide clasp. So this is one of the ways, and you just hook each strand up to its own spot. Now this is a slide clasp. You can also get box clasps and toggle clasps that have multi-connectors like this, so that you can put various or more than one strand on it. I used to have a box clasp right here that you could. but I think I moved it the other day when I was looking for something else. But, and then this is the bead of a deep bead cap. When you're going to put the strands into a bead cap, you want something that's relatively deep so that you can put your connect inside and pull your strands up inside so you don't see your connections, and then you hook from here on the other side. Sort of like you would a purse charm or something like that. Easily done that way. And the other way is just to hook them onto a ring. I think I had some rings here at one point in time. But and that's just to hook each strand onto the ring, and then use the ring to go forward from there. I would have swore I had a ring right here beside me, but I'm not finding one. But I have some really large rings, but that wouldn't be one I'd want to use. I would prefer to use a small ring if I'm going to attach that way. This is a relatively large one, and you could attach to this if you wanted a large ring at the end. But I generally just use a decorative smaller ring when I'm attaching to a ring. Oh, here's the box clasp I was talking about. Come on out of there, baby. So as you can see, there's 2 loops on each side of this box clasp. And so you'd attach 1 strand to each of the loops. So this would make a 2-strand bracelet. Come on, click into place. There we go. So there's a box clasp, a slide clasp, the bead cap way to do it. And as I say, you can do it with a ring. And I did used to have some pretty twisted silver rings up here above. If I can find what I did with them. And you just would attach each strand to the ring in the appropriate order you want the rings to be in. But that's not them, unfortunately. So I was thinking we would see about making a bracelet, a multi-strand bracelet, but we're going to use the bead cap method. Ah, hello, Mary. Yes, unfortunately, budgets are not great, especially if they're federal workers. They're not getting paid, so no budget whatsoever. So what you do with the bead cap style is you do your strands, however many you're going to do, but you need to get them smaller when they come down here. You can't use big beads, obviously, because you're going to be feeding it your strands inside your bead cap. Now, if you're using seed beads, I can already tell you I can get 8 or 9 strands into this cap if I'm using seed beads. Or if you're, using 3s or something like that, you can easily get 3 strands inside one of these. So I'm gonna choose some beads. I haven't really chosen any, but we've got both the Midnight Menagerie and Sweater Weather here still. So we can, well, heck, for that matter, what was the blue one that we had? I still have that here too, for that matter. So we can, I think it was the Ice Cream Scoops one, make some strands of bracelet, and we'll put this together. I just had a message come in and I didn't see what it was. I don't know if it's for my husband or not. But so we're going to just choose some beads here, and we're going to string this up 3 strands. Let's make some red. It's getting close to Christmas. Shall we make a more of a Christmassy bracelet? I can find some green easily enough, and some white or blue if we want to do that. I really like this wood chain that's in the companion bundle. Maybe we'll actually just let the wood chain be one of our strands. We'll see. Let's put it aside here. You're trying to curb your multi-strand mentality, huh, Beth? The cats are missing my husband. Yesterday, 2 of them were going around the house crying, and I was like, he's not home. You can cry all you want. He's not home. And one of the other ones is taken to sleeping in his recliner. So I'm not sure if I want to use the wood chain or not, because it's going to be hard to get it up into the bead cap with the other stuff. See, it will clog it up. But I think it would look cool. But if we were to do that, I'd have to put some more loops onto here, just to give it some space into there. Though what I could do if I wanted to is open some of these loops up and put some other beads in between. So we'll see what we decide to do here. Yeah, things are getting a little bit rough, not only for me, but for other people also in the valley here, because, we have a lot of federal jobs around here, and, well, they're all out of work. So it's getting a little bit tight, so to speak. I don't think I want to. It would work. But if we're going for sort of more Christmassy, we need something green or just crystal. I do have a lot of green. But I think I would like smaller, unless I'm going to be using it like as spacing in between other things, which I could do. But a lot of times I like to make things that are more consistently neutral. So that, say I do this for this red, if I just put white or with it, it would you could wear it in other times besides at Christmas time. So Yeah. Yeah, that's true. And um, they've been denying unemployment in a few of the states, and this is one of them. So that's not helpful either. And even though we know if we were to get unemployment, we'd have to pay it back once if they do give the back pay like they usually do. But I'm hoping so. I'm hoping it's ending soon because it's been a little bit stressful all the way around. So yeah, I'm sure there are quite a few federal jobs in Virginia, Mary. So I'm thinking I don't want to make this into we may just make it white and red. I think I have a second. Yeah, I do have more of these little smaller white pearls. We need some gold spacers. And I think we will I saw some gray. My new bargain bead box is supposed to be here. Um, those will work. It's supposed to be here today, so I'm sort of looking forward to that. So we are going to use these gray 6mm English cut faceted beads in black. They say black, but they look pretty gray to me. Well, they have a vitriol on them, so we're going to use those and the red and then the white pearls. And we're going to see about making a 3-strand bracelet here. Some white softlex. And I don't think we're going to use this, but I really think this is cool chain. I like it a lot. And this would make a pretty bracelet, but I don't want to use it with the bead cap style. I would probably use this more with one of the stranded clasps. And just put this on, possibly even two, one on either side with a bead strand in the middle, which would be pretty. But that's for another thing. So what we want to do is we want to make a pattern with 3 strands, and I don't want them each to have their own color. We're gonna split these up, and we're gonna make 3 strands. And we could just make 1 strand of each, but I'm not going to do that. What I'm going to do is we're going to make a pattern in each color. One color being dominant, but then with the other beads within it. And they've got to be about the same length. They can be off a little bit, but they got to be about the same length when you get finished. This strand needs cut. Sometimes these little, how they wrap these little wires, there's a pain in the rear at the base of the strand. There. We've already got a pile of the red out. We'll just add some more to it. Same with our white here. Now I had some spacer beads, some gold spacer beads here beside me, but the other day I put spacer beads away, so I have to go get some. Hey, Cynthia. Now the pearl beads are, I'm not sure if we're going to, how we're going to do those, because they are larger. They're all say they're 6 millimeters, but let's face it, the pearl is not cut, so it's a direct round. These are rondelles. These are English cuts. So even though they say they're 6 millimeter, they're, well, they're technically not because they have an extra shape to them. But I'm thinking a red strand, then a gray strand, and unless I get a third color out, a third choice, one of them is going to be a pearl strand, but it's going to have broken up a lot more with other beads in it. So pearls. So you could just do like that, have no pattern, just have straight one color of bead. Or you could break them up, say go 5, go down here, have like a gray and a in the center here, and go again with 5, and then the 2 gray and the pearl in between, like so. Then we do sort of the opposite thing over here on this side with the 5 gray, the 2 red, and the pearl in between. And if we wanted to do it a little bit different, we could just leave that strand, the middle strand, all pearls too. Though frankly, when they pull together, they're not necessarily going to stay 1, 2, 3 like this, because they're going into a bead cap as opposed to a simple thing altogether. So, but if we were to do that, I might, instead of going 5 with the pearl, I might go 3 and then do like 2 gray and a red, and then go down another 3 and go 2 red and a gray. So then we'd go with the next 3 and go back to the 2 gray with the red in between. So I'm going to get some gold spacers, and then we're going to start stringing this baby up. These might be too big for what I was thinking of doing, but we'll see. I'm fairly positive they are, though, but we'll see. Now, because all three of these strands probably will not fit into the bead cap once we got them here, I will get some seed beads to put at the very ends, so to pull them up. Your girls are howling. Why are your girls howling, Mary? Now, I always put a bead stopper on this end so that the beads don't slide into my spool so that I can't tell exactly what I got going on. So we're going to our English cut, and I'm not putting the seed beads yet. I'm going to put those on last. I'm not exactly sure how many I'll need, probably only 2 or 3 of each on each strand. But we're going to put these little guys, and we're going to do 5 of the English cut. I'm going to see if this is going to work or if I'm going to want a smaller spacer here. Okay. Now we'll go to the red. I think I'm going to want a smaller. But let's put this together first and we'll see. Yeah, we're going to want a smaller. I'll go find me a smaller spacer here. These are just too big. Oh, those are beautiful woodpeckers. We have some around here, though. Our flickers are more. Oh boy, squirrel in the tree, huh? Yeah, we get, like I said, we get flickers here, which are a pretty darn good sized woodpecker. And my cats will get in the tree and yip at them. And I'm always saying, you don't want to be bugging that bird, it will peck your head off. But they never listen. They really want to get out to get that bird, but I know perfectly well that the bird is bigger than they are, and or as big as they are, and they peck. You don't want that pecking at your head. Well, that wouldn't be very smart. But, you know, sometimes they don't care if they're very smart. They just want to get them. Okay. These are much smaller, so I think they'll work better. In fact, I think we'll go in between with each of these instead of the smaller one. Now you can go to the point where you think it's going to hit the length you want when you get your bead caps on, and like maybe one more bead and then your findings here on the ends. Or you can go to just a middle length and then put extender chain on if you don't think it's going to be long enough, which is sometimes the easiest way to handle things like this. Now, Beth, you have a doctor's appointment today, right? What time is that? So we can sort of keep a eye out for you. Oop. Hey, Marika, we haven't seen you for a while. Yeah, and the price of groceries has gone up so much. I don't usually do the shopping. My husband usually gets anything we need on the way home from work when he's working, and he knows I hate grocery shopping. But anyway, I went with my daughter Saturday because she needed something. She wanted to get some stuff, so she asked if I'd go with her since her dad usually goes with her and he wasn't here. And or she takes her son, and he's been quite sick with norovirus. So see, this is only a little over about 5.5 inches, and that's the length I'm going to leave it. I'm not going to make it longer because I do have to put some seed beads here. Then we're going to put it in the cap, and we're going to choose a bead for the end. And then if we need any more space, any more length, we'll use some extender chain. So I'm going to roll this down here, and I'm going to put another bead stopper down here. And we're going to cut this guy off because this is as long as I'm going to make him be. Got to give it some room for the seed beads to go on. So we'll cut it right here. And then we're going to take this baby and we're going to sit it up here. This is going to be our first strand. So we'll start on our second strand, which I think we'll start the red ones next. And we'll do the same with the 5. And then we'll go 2, a gray, and a pearl here. Though it might end up being slightly different lengths because they are all supposedly 6mm beads, but they're different shapes, so it's going to change the outcome of the length. I probably will not be able to just put the same lengths on the other 2 strands as I do this one. So we'll just have to see how we'll have to handle that. We may end up having to put a few extra beads on, like red beads on the ends, or some such thing as that. We'll see. But the different shapes does make it for some interesting differences between the strands. So see, it's about the same length, but not quite. Well, close on it. No, I've got to let them roll apart. Pretty close. We may just need to end up putting an extra spacer in somewhere or something like that. But we'll see what happens when we get to that point. But I think the one that's going to probably give us the most headaches as far as sizing is concerned is the pearl strand. Mm-hmm. You're in the dentist's office, Sid? Ugh. Hey, Dawn. Oh, well, we'll see. We'll see what, hopefully it's not anything really bad, Beth, when you go to the cardiologist. So we'll see. Okay, now this is the strand that would match up here. And as you can see, it is a little bit shorter, not atrociously, but a little bit. I'm going to put a spacer on either end here, and we may just end up just putting a few extra seed beads on this one than we would the others. But again, it's one of those things we got to see what all three lengths get close to, and then we're going to have to adjust accordingly. So this next one is for our pearl strand, which I've decided to not put 5. I'm going to go 3. And that's just because they are the bigger sized ones. And so we're going to go and I'm going to put this strand in the middle as well. So as much in the middle as you're going to get them anyway with bead cap with using the bead cap ends. So this will sit in the middle. Well, hopefully it will sit in the middle. Oop. Butterfingers. Now, I have only used 5. 3 is opposed to 5. So we are quite a bit different, as you can see by the sizing. So I will put another one of the colored strands on either side here of the pearls, and we will see where that puts us at. I really do need to cut my fingernails. Oops, not two reds. I need a gray. Oh, way too long. Don't need that long. Slide over. Now I'm going to cut this about right here. It's probably longer than I need, but that's all right. There's only a little bit more wire on that spool anyway. Now, let's move you guys out of the way some. Bring you guys down and into here. Oops, sorry, Grays. Didn't mean to snag you up there. Let's get things out of the way some so we can sort of compare our lengths. This one is now longer by about a bead. On either side. And this one was about the same length as the gray one. So it's again needs about one more bead on it, either side. So I could put the gray ones on this one and the red ones on this one if I wanted to, just like I would be starting and I think that's what I'm going to do, like I was starting the pattern again. Looks like this red one's still a little bit smaller, so we'll put the spacers on this side. And we could, like I say, just do this with seed beads because we're going to use seed beads to go up inside our cap anyway, but we'll see how we get this to work. Now I'm always putting a small one on with this one because it's got a bigger bead hole in it. And if you crimp it right there, it would go through. The crimp would go through the bead hole. So This looks relatively close. Now we need to pull our pearl one back out. What am I stringing on? It's just Softlex white quartz medium. We're going to put this one in here. So now what we're going to do is we're going to put a few get my clear seed beads out. Well, I thought that was them, but it's not. I just knocked something on the floor. Good going. Changed my mind about the clear. We're just going to use some gold ones. So I'm going to put like 3 or 4 of these 11-aught seed beads at the ends of each strand. Maybe 5. That should do it for sure. So then what's going to happen is we're going to hook these all together, and they're going to go up into the bead cap like so to connect all of them together. Now this won't go up this high because we'll have a eye pin in here, as well as we'll have our crimp. So they won't quite go as high as it pushes up here. It'll be up here a little further, but I think that's a good number right there with the 5. And if they end up showing, that's not that big of a deal because, well, the cap is gold, and I used gold these, and we'll have used gold Softlex crimp tubes. So, and I may only put 4 on the others because now this one's just a teeny touch shorter than the other strands are. So it's going to come together like so. The bead caps will go on either side, and then we'll hook up the other stuff. So we're going to just go with 4 on either one of these since that one did end up being slightly shorter. Now, I doubt very strongly if these 5s will take, or I mean these 11-aughts will take the strand back through it. So what we will do in that case is just trim it off right at the crimp. 2, 3, and 4. Now I'm comparing again. And it looks like we may want the one seed bead on one side, one more seed bead on the other one side. We'll see. So now I'm going to get my crimping beads out, or tubes, and we're going to crimp all of one side. Get a eye pin. Doesn't have to be a large eye pin, so I've got a couple right here that are smaller. And we're going to need quite a few of them, so we might as well just pull a few out right now. Well, actually, we only need 2. Think, Rose. You don't need 1 per strand, just 1. So then when we get those crimped and on there and put on this, it'll go through here, and the strands will be hanging inside here. And then we'll put either a bead or, one of these, maybe a pearl on the end here. And maybe I'll even give it one of the, like so, and then it will be able to hook on to our bracelet findings. One of the things I really like with these caps is to make a beaded tassel, and I make, you can get like 9 or 10 little strands with the smaller beads up into here, and then you can put on your beads, if say I was to use these, I could add another bead in the middle of them here, slightly bigger, to make some definition and stuff. They really make a pretty beaded tassel. Anyway, we need to get our crimp tubes. There they are. Thank you. Did I see Miranda came in? Oh, and Leslie came in. Hi, Leslie. Oh, yep, there's Miranda. Oh, we need 6, not 4. We're making 3 strands. Now we got a lot more than we needed. Not sure where that one went. It wants to stick down here. Oh, there it is. So we're just going to crimp one set of ends off to start with. And we don't want a big loop here because, yeah, it doesn't go in. Because this is has to go inside our bead cap. So we want a pretty tight loop up here towards the top. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut my wire off, slide my clippers up till they bump into that, and then just trim that extra wire off. So then we'll slide all this down this way, and we're just going to do the one side right now. And we're going to do just one side, because once we put it in here, hook it up and put it in here, we can then just see how long the other ones are and see if we need to add any more seed beads or take any out. So let's just keep crimping up our one side. And since we don't see these crimps and the seed beads, because most of them are going to be inside the bead cap, we do not have to worry about, oh, we're going to wreck the pattern because we put this much of this in or this much of that in. We're just going to do it all. So again, we've got it crimped, so we're going to take our flush cutters and slide right up that extra wire until you bump into your crimp and then just snap it off. Uh-oh, where'd I knock my crimps to? Ah, there they are. The crimp just looks a lot like one of the seed beads. So now this loop is almost too small. It's smaller than the others, but it'll still work. I just have to be able to get it through the eye pin. So and speaking of the eye pin, that's the next step. Hi, Chris. Hey, Heather. So we're going to open our eye pin up here. This is a little eye pin I got from Beadbox Bargains. Feed our strands onto here. Now remember, you can put these on any way you want. They're going to fall whichever way they want to when they come through, because we're not putting them in any specific order, because they're going to just roll up on themselves anyway when you go into the bead cap. So we have the 3 strands here, and then we got the bead cap, and we're just going to feed them into the bead cap. And ooh, we may have put in too many seed beads, because it really doesn't seem to want to. They don't want to go all the way up into the cap. So if that's the case, because we have such long tails over here, and let's see, we may want to take off a couple of seed beads on each side. And we can do that because we did leave such a long tail over here that we can open this back up. Come on, open up. And we're going to get some more crimp tubes. Well, we've got 3 here anyway. We're going to move these strands down some. And we know we're going to want to take off at least half of our seed beads. We only need about 2 to go up into the cap. So we're going to take those off, move this down quite a bit, bring this all the way down. Oops, not the right strand, Rose. Duh. And then, because we did have enough excess there, we can clip this crimp off this end, and then we can redo this side after we take a few of our seed beads off. So we only need enough room for it to be able to go up in the cap, and we really don't want them to show that much. So, come here, you go up there on your own. And now we don't really need a long tail here, because we're going to cut it off anyway. Now, if you wanted to, instead of working from that side again, you could just take these off of this side. I'm going to leave 3 since this one was a little longer. And we can work from this side and then go back over there and cut that off. Now let's see how it's going. This one still might peek out a little bit because I left 3 beads on it. And it probably will, but we'll see what happens. So since I left this open, we'll just start stringing onto here. Go around. As you can see, this one's still poking out a little bit, but it can be pushed up some because it's not tight on its wires. So there's how this looks from the one side. And these will just rearrange themselves as you go along because they're not in any specific order. So let's tighten these strands up so that they're tight up in there so they look better. So I'm going to finish it off with this red bead, I decided. And we'll pull these up pretty tight And then we're going to do a wrapped loop here. Yes, you can sacrifice the seed beads if you want to, rather than pulling them off and that kind of thing, because most seed beads, I'm not sure, these ones might be some metal ones. I'd have to test them. Most seed beads are glass and you can just snap them right in half. And I do that a lot of times when I'm making the Barbie jewelry, because if I need to have some off of the one side, I don't want to have to take them off and work with that tiny ring memory wire any more than I have to. So I would just snap the seed beads in half. So now we're going to wrap this guy up tightly here on this side. And see, this cap could take another strand in here easily. So now what I want to do is I'm going to take these all undone temporarily anyway, and we're going to compare the strand lengths. Because if you recall, we weren't exactly sure how far apart they were from the other side, from side to side. I'm going to pull them all up to where they're hitting my fingers here. So they're as tight as we can get them here. No, you get back down where you belong. And it looks like the gray and red strand might be shorter. I don't have the ending pieces on here. That's why. Have to fix that. I think once we fix that, that'll be pretty close, these two strands. This one might be, well, we'll see. I got to get those beads on here, these spacers on here that aren't here. They weren't on this side either. Naughty me. Okay. Get out from between. Now let's push these down as far as they'll go and see how close they are to each other. Looks like they're pretty good. Now, how about you? I think this one might be able to lose that third seed bead. So we'll take it off. Now we'll crimp these, put bead stoppers on two of these strands, and we'll get the crimp tubes out and start crimping these guys together. I want to see something. How much are these guys poking out on this side? Pearl one's poking out more than I want, so let's see if we can snap that seed bead off. And yes, we can. Say bye-bye, seed bead. And you guys roll down in here so that you're up closer into our carrier here. Yeah. That'd be better. So tight. Now we do want this tight, but not so tight that it won't roll around. So that's about the spot right there. One strand. Oops, I didn't get that up tight. See how I left a bump right there? So I'm going to see if I can't get in and clip just a little bit more of that off. I have to bend it over so I can get to it. And I don't want to clip my base wire, so I've got to be careful. Oops, bang my light. Sorry about that. These particular cutters are actually for supposed to be getting into tight little spots. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. There. Two, and now we have one more to go. Okay, now we have our 3 strands done this side. We just have to open this other eye pin up. And just hook our strands on. I don't care which one goes on first, because I'm perfectly fine if they all just sort of roll around onto each other and sort of twist up like braided. I don't care about that. I am making sure the pearly one with the pearls, mainly with the pearls, is in the middle, is the middle strand. But other than that, I'm not paying attention to where the gray one and the red one are. So now I'll put this up into this cap. And we still can see some of the seed beads, but that's all right. When it's a little stiff, I'm gonna have to work with that a little bit because I obviously tightened up one more than the other ones. But in this side, I'm debating, do I want another red one on this side or should we put a gray one on this side? I think I'll go with the gray one. Okay, there's our 3-strand bracelet. Now we just need to either put on some extender chain, or I knocked the beads all sideways. Surprise. Depending on how long it is, we need to now put on our findings. And right now it looks like it will be fine with just the lobster claw, and this, my arm is about 7.5, not 7.5, 7 between 7 and 7.25. So that's about the size I normally make them. I have an average size wrist. So we can just put the lobster claw and the jump rings on and be done with it. You could put some extender chain on if you wanted to. Thank you, Carolyn. What size are these pearls? They're 6s, 6 millimeters. All of these are supposedly 6 millimeters. They say 6 millimeters, but they're different shapes. So even though they say they're 6s, they don't always conform to 6s. Whoop, I let go of the string. Naughty me. Get up here. You go in there. Now I'm going to cut this excess string off because I hate all this excess string hanging around. It just gets in your way. So my pearls are 6s. My rondelles were, I think they're from the Sweater Weather bead box. I think they are, the red ones are rondelles. And I think that they were, well, is this its package? 8mm crystals, English cut, or 6mm crystals, English cut in black. That's the gray ones, of course. I don't classify that as black. Sorry. And I'm not sure where I didn't bring the thing out for the red because I just pulled them all out of their slot in my box. So thank you, Mary. I think they work really good in a lot of different designs, this style of bead cap. I believe I got these from Beadbox Bargains. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I did. I've got them from Auntie's Beads before too, I think. But they work, like I say, they work great if I'm making a tassel type of beaded earring. And you can get like about 9 strands in them. Maybe we'll make one of those one of these days soon, because they're pretty fun to make. They do take a bit of time, and they're sort of, you know, the same. So these were, the gray were 6mm English cut. I got those out of Midnight Menageries. Yep. They were out of Midnight Menagerie, because there they are, right? That's their slot. And then I believe I got the red ones out of the Sweater Weather Companion Bundle. And they are 6x4 rondelles. Bye-bye. Now you're back in your slot. Seed beads and daisy spacers all mixed together here. Oh, and there's a crimp. We don't want to lose our crimp. These babies are not cheap. You'd think a teeny little piece of metal wouldn't cost very much, but they're getting more and more expensive. Everything is, unfortunately. So you got to think about that. So there, I will get some jump rings, and I need to get a lobster claw, and we can finish this bracelet up and see how big it ended up being. But quite frankly, bracelets are sort of, I love making them. I don't sell as much, though. I was really surprised at my last Renaissance fair. I sold quite a few bracelets, and some of them that had been around for a while. So, oh, this is the one for the lobster claw, and I don't have the lobster claw here yet, so shouldn't put that one on yet. And this one wasn't closed all the way, so I will probably have to fidget it. See how there's a gap right there? I don't want a gap right there. So what we're going to do, we're going to take hold of both sides, and we're going to wiggle it back and forth a little bit with just a little bit of forward pressure on it till it comes together. And when it comes together, you will feel it scrape. There, it just did. So it's still not perfectly together, but I will get it better there. There we go. So there's that side. Now I have to go get a lobster claw to finish it up. And it's done. But this chain, I really love this wooden chain here. I think it's really cool, and I didn't use it for anything. But if you wanted to, you could use this for a multi-strand bracelet. But I would, if I were going to do that, I'd probably use like one of these, which is a slide clasp, and it has it has 3 rings on it, so you could do 3 strands here, and then you just hook up one side to this side, make it the length you want, and hook it to the other side over here. And then you could do a beaded one or a different colored rosary chain in the middle. You could do 3 rosary chains and just do, just a strand of different colored rosary chains through here. Like use the wooden one for one and maybe some, but since these are 8mm, you probably would want to use 8mm beads in between. It looks like we have a little ball spacer on there too. So, I mean, that would be really simple just to take, yes, I did. I did buy some of your the $15 strands of rice pearls from you. I think I got 2 of them actually. So what I was going to say though, then these are 8mm, so you'd want 8mm probably, so it would stay consistent size. And then do rosary chain with maybe 3 different things, or put this in the middle maybe and put a stone one on either side, or a glass of 8mm round with the beads in there, and just have the same size strands, and that would make a really pretty 3-strand bracelet. So if that's something you might be interested in doing, that, and that would work really good with this chain here. But I just need to put get a lobster claw to put on this, and we will get that and be done and with putting this baby together. Test it, make sure it's working all right. It is, that's good. So then we'll just grab our jump ring back up and hook her on this end, and close her up. Let's see, did that jump ring close all the way? Not quite, but close. There we go. Hook her together. And let's get our bracelet mandrel out and check her size. Oh, now see, it's even longer than I thought it was. It's going down to 7 3/4 because of the lobster claw and stuff. But I'm not playing with it. It can just stay there at that length. Now, if you wanted this to be smaller in here, you could use a smaller jump ring. I've got the big one on, but you could use one of this size over here, and it would make it a bit smaller. Another thing you could do is use a smaller lobster claw. I use a big one because I like them for getting on. And it actually is not as loose as you would expect because it's a little bit stiff. And see, because I didn't pay attention to how I pulled them into here, and because they are pulled in, the bead strands cross over themselves, which I think makes it interesting. Oh, can you see what I'm talking about there? Way of being. Not really. So my bracelet mandrel, Wanda, I got that from Heather. I can't remember what she says. She called out what their price is. So, but it will cross over the top there, and and you could just wiggle it and it will cross in a different spot because it's not put on in any particular place. Um, so I sort of like the crossover thing. I don't care that it's crossing over. I like it to do that. Actually, it makes some interesting patterns when it does that. So you can also twist it if you want to make it do it more. But because it is a little, it is the way it is. It's not um, it's not tremendously loose even at that size on me. So if I can get it to latch, come on, baby. Even with the bigger lobster claws, sometimes I have trouble latching them. But you can, there's a couple of tricks you can do. One of them is use a bobby pin to hold your piece closer to you, or just half open a paper clip and use it. There, I've got it. But see, even though it is looser than I normally wear them, it's not bad. So there we go. Finished. So all done. It is, like I say, bigger than I like them. I like my bracelet to be closer into my wrist. And frankly, I generally wear stretch bracelets myself. And but this is one of the ways you can make a, with the large bead cap like this. It does have to be a deep bead cap. You can't just do it with one of the regular little bead caps. It does have to be a deep bead cap to work this way. But come on, dump it off. I've got it open. Sometimes it's harder to get these off once you've got them on. But we can do it. Come on, you. Oh, the heck with it. I'll get it off later. But like I say, if you want to use one of these, I would just make rosary chain. If you want to use some of this, I would just make some rosary chain with different colored beads, either gemstones or glass, in the same length of what you want to make it. And then you could use two different colors of stones, as well as your wood chain here, and just make your rosary chain exactly like you do that. And hi, Dorothy. And so that would work really well. Cynthia's saying that she likes the sparkle with the pearls. Oh yeah, it's sparkling really nicely with the pearls. And you could use pearls for one of these too. Actually, you could do it with any beads you want to use. Just try and make sure they're the same size beads. These are 8 millimeters with two ball spacers on either side. I can tell that by just looking at them. So I would use beads with 2 ball spacers and rosary chain them. And that way, you know it's going to be the same length because you're using all the same stuff. And you don't have to go, oh, is this going to be the same length? You don't have to worry about that like you do when you do use different types of beads like I did with this one. I actually need to make another some more Barbie jewelry for my show. I haven't made any new Barbie jewelry for a while, so I probably should do that one of these days. I also need to make a few more snowflakes. I don't sell as many icicles, so I'm not too worried about the icicles that I have made are plenty. Oh yes, do please hit the like for me. That's always nice. So, actually, do I have a bobby pin around here or a paper clip? I could show you what I mean by just using something else to hold it while you're taking it off. Actually, even my Instapendant would work. Just have to hook it in to your, well, if I can get it to hook in here. With the other things, it's simple because you just slip it through onto something. Yeah, it's not going to work as easily as I was thinking. You need to hook it either on here or on here, and then you can hold it in place. Usually it's easier on the jump ring because it's just sliding around. Come on. Come on, you're open. Slide. There we go. So what size did it come out to? About 7.5, 7 3/4. Ding. See? This one strand says 8, but it's not really that long because the other one's shorter. But then that's because it's wrapping on around it the other stuff. See how they're doing on the ends? And that's shortening it just a little bit. So about 7.5, 7 3/4. Oh, you're obsessed with it, think it's you. So, huh, Heather? I don't use the alligator style clips to do that. If I'm going to do one, I just do a loop of wire, a heavy duty loop of wire at one end, so it can slip through the big enough to, small enough to slip through here, just almost like I would one of my hooks that I make for my my decorative things. So you can just hook it and then just hold the other side in the palm of your hand. Now Becky Foster has made them and have beads on one end, which is really pretty. So that would work. That's as a bracelet helper. Usually, if I really need some help with it, I just go grab a paper clip and bend it over so it's only half open, and so it's pretty simple. But like I said, another way of doing a multi-strand bracelet is just to use this style, of ends that has your clasp has multiple holes to hold onto your strands, and then you can do them straight across. Or, oh, here's one. I was saying you can put rings. So you can put a ring on the end and just hook onto the rings, your strands. This one is 3 strands, but they're have 2 whole beads in them, so they're not going anywhere from each other. But both sides are just hooked onto a ring, and then the lobster claw is hooked onto the ring as well, and it just closes up on the other side, so just like that. So really simple. But I had that sitting beside me. Forgot about that. corgis aren't any help at all. I don't know why. But since Heather doesn't plan on coming, well, I don't have any more. I don't think I have any more 8. I do have some more chain like this, but I'm not sure it's size 8. It's got to have, like I say, they need to be the same size, so you don't have to work, you don't have to play the oops, we need one more, we need one less, we need some more space here, we need less space here. With one that's already like this, already the same size of everything, you just need to decide on one length and then just make everything to that length. It's pretty simple. But I know I have some different colored rosary chain. I just don't know if it's 8mm with the balls. If it were, I could easily whip one out pretty quickly, but I don't know if it is. So I'm not even sure if we have 8mm beads in our kits here that are beside me. I might, but I don't know. But I do know that I have see what I mean? We've got the same size. If we get the same size and first thing you'd want to do is decide about how long you want it to be. Your own. Now we're going to have clasp and probably, well, these can just be opened up to put them on. So maybe just right here would be plenty. So I'm going to open this up and take this one off. Come on, open up, baby. Off you go. Close it back up. Go back into space ball spacer because we don't want to lose you off there. See, this was in the companion bundle. So we bought one. Oh, in the companion bundle for the sweater weather, not for the menagerie. Almost put it in the wrong box. There we go. Now see, so here's what we'd need. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And I'd have to decide if I wanted it all one color with just 2 sides of blue and one of the brown. And we need, no, I don't need hypo cement, but thank you for coming out and seeing. Yeah. So what you just do is take some eye pins, a whole bunch of them. Then we got a ball spacer. Come on, ball spacer. 8mm bead. Isn't this blue pretty? And then another ball spacer. And now see, we've got a section just like that. And because I hate making simple loops, I have my looper here. So you go through the hole over on the other side. Come on, go through the hole, silly one. Push it up as far as you can get it. Keep it pretty straight to the other side. Pop and bend a little and pull it open. Now, they're never quite the way I want them, so I'm going to have to close them up later. But we would simply make the same number of these as are here. Whoop. Well, now that was naughty. That's one of the things that I find to be the most biggest pain in the rear is I tend to sometimes knock the beads back off my pin, or I get that the little ones want to go up and over the edge of that piece right there that is what you bend around or bend with, which drives me nuts. So then we just make 2 strands of these, hook them together. Now, like I said, you could make the blue on both sides, or I could get another color for the other side here, and then we just hook them on. You guys are goofy. So Steve sleeps with one eye open, huh? When he's made you mad. So I'd say I would be putting this wood one because it's not going to be glass. I'm going to put it on as the middle strand. So I'd open this guy up on this end. Normally I'd use jump rings, but because these are already simple loops, it's pretty simple. Simple loops and simple. To just hook them, open the loop and hook them on. Come on. I need to tighten that loop. It's not closed all the way. There we go. So now it's hooked onto this side. And I just make the hole of one and then put them all in the side. Then you bring them around to your other side and hook it up here to make your 3-strand rosary chain bracelet, which makes it pretty sort of, this is going to be sort of fun and easy. In fact, I'm going to sit here and make this. If you guys want to stick around, I can do that. If you don't, that's fine. I can turn off and I'll just show you what it looks like when it's done. But we need 11 of these per side because that's how many of the wooden beads we have. So I've got this really pretty pale, I think they call it an opal blue, and we can either do the opal blue on both sides, or I can find another color to put on the other side, like maybe a gray or something like that. Come on, little bead, get out of the way. You're going to stick around? Okay. I don't use my looper that often unless I'm making rosary chain like things because I don't like making simple loops. My simple loops always seem to act a little weird to me. And these don't make perfect ones because one side tends to be bigger than the other one, and they don't always close all the way with the looper, and that's fine because then I'll just get my round nose pliers out and straighten them up. But at least they've got the cut in them, and that's my biggest part with problem with making simple loops is how much of a cut do I want to leave? And sometimes I leave too little, and sometimes I leave too much, and it's like ugh, pain in the rear. So that is why when I use my looper is when I make simple loops. And like I say, I generally change them up some. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'll need 11. Hopefully my husband's connection in Minneapolis went all right and they didn't cancel any more of his flights, though he's not going to get home till really late. He said after they canceled his original flight, which only had one layover, he ended up having like 2 or 3 layovers at various places. I think he went from his original town to Minneapolis, Minneapolis to Denver, and then Denver to Salt Lake City. And I'm like, oh, what a pain in the rear. But he's afraid if they keep canceling the flights and rescheduling him from a different one that he might not get home till tomorrow sometime. But pain in the rear. How many of you guys used loopers? Anybody? Oh, come off, you. You were all of you guys were coming off just fine. Why do you want to be stubborn and not come off? There we go. Okay. So now I will you have and you find that having to finish each loop is maddening. Call it the one blooper. Yeah, that's true. You do always have to fix your original loop that you've made. I don't think I've ever not had to. But because you're right, they don't quite close usually. These ones are closed better than some of them I've made in the past. So I'm actually sort of pleased with this bunch. I once had a set of eye pins that I used with the looper that with one of my little necklaces I made rosary chain with, and um, they seemed to be not too bad, but the when I was tightening the eyes and stuff up, the wire seemed really not, not really stiff, or, I don't know how to explain that better. The gauge seemed to be really lightweight, and so when I went and was um, tightening the loops up, they seemed really sort of wonky. So the next day, I got worrying about that chain, and I came in and I just gave it a really good tug, and about half of the loops came undone. I was like, oh my God, I'm glad I teched that, because eek, you know? But okay. Now that I've got them all closed, I got to open them. Or at least one side of each one to put them together. Oop. Oh, I don't think I opened that enough. When I'm putting these together, when I have ball spacers, you notice I've got my thumbnail draped over the ball spacer. That's so it can't just roll in the slot when I open it up, because it will. Come on. Ooh. It's one of my least favorite sounds is when the pliers snap off like that. It's like eek. Okay, you've got a twist right here. Make sure there's no twists when you're comparing sizes. Now see, even though these are 8s and stuff, they are not coming out the same length, it doesn't look like, which is a pain in the rear. It's close, but it doesn't look like it's going to be quite the same. I think it's this bead. A couple of these beads are a little bit not quite 8mm. See, they look like it's suddenly going off size right here. And I think that's the problem right there. But we'll put it all together and see if we need to just put a jump ring or two, like at the ending here to make sure that I didn't open that enough. That we get them more or less the same length. Oop. Come on, where'd you fall to? Well, I'll use this one for right now. There you are. Yeah, I think we're going to have to put a jump ring on this side when we put the other side on to get this left back to the proper size. We may even need to take the other one back off and put one on that side as well. But we'll see when we get to that point. Come on, you. Where's the wire? See, it's off. And I'm fairly positive good portion of that is the fact that it is, some of the wooden beads are not entirely they're not entirely straight or 8mm. So one thing I could do is take this particular one off and then put a jump ring on top and bottom of this bead. And that might be the better way to go. But we'll see. I still want to find a secondary color, and I could just get these and put these on this side again. That would be pretty. As you can see, it looks pretty good with the browns. And if I take off one of them, then I can just use that in the other side as well. And that may be what we do. Instead of making it 3 colors, just make it the 2 and make the other side this same color here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and we'll use that one there. And I'm going to put jump rings on the sides here and here. We'll take this one off, use a jump ring to hook this back on, and guess it would help if I opened it the right direction. Come on, there we go. We'll close this baby back up because we're just going to jump ring it now. Then we're going to take this one off this side. I could have just taken that one side off, but we've already wiggled with those a lot, and I don't want to do that anymore. So we're going to take this side off. Come on. And this one will go in with the ones on the other side. We'll just jump ring these guys onto this with some medium-sized jump rings. If I felt it was big enough, I mean, I had enough base, I could use Tinky Tots if, you know, the 4 millimeters, if I figured that I didn't need a lot of extra space here, which I may not. Stop your kinking. So but I think it requires the mediums from the looks of it. So I will get these up. Looks like we need a few more wires. And then we will put that side together, and then we'll put the whole thing the rest of the way together. This one doesn't need fixed, so we'll keep it sort of separated still, because of course we'll need to fix the loops on these others when we get everything made up here. Come on. Oh, this is going to be one of those it doesn't want to come off ones. Come on. There we go. Hey, Cindy, how's it going? Today we've made this 3-strand bracelet here using large deep bead caps to put the strands all in. And right now I'm making another 3-strand bracelet, but we're using a 3-strand slide clasp, and we're making rosary chain to go with it. This wood rosary chain was in our sweater weather companion bundle from Beadbox Bargains. So we're using that as the middle strand. Then we're using some pretty, what they called blue opal. It's not opal at all. It's just opalized sort of strands to make our rosary chain for our 2 sides. Now, if I wanted to make wrapped loops, I could do my rosary chain as wrapped loops and then connected them as we wrapped, or connect them with jump rings. I just think with the simple loops, the rosary chain looks tighter together as opposed to the other, because the other way you have the, go back over here. Get back over here. You have the all the extra wire around taking up space. Come on, you come out of there. Looks like I'm going to need a few more ball spacers. But You bugger, come here. I don't know how many of you guys are friends with me, but I posted a cute little thing the other day. Um, there's a couple of young British guys who come over to America, and then they have a Facebook stuff that they talk about the things that they've discovered that are different in here in America than in Britain. And one of the thing that they were talking about, this one that I shared, was thunder snow. Well, I had never seen thunder snow when I lived in Western Washington. I don't think we've ever had it over there. It's sort of a natural phenomenon here to the more well, I'm east of the uh, Rocky Mountains, or the Cascade Mountains, at least. I'm on the west side of the Rocky Mountains, actually. So, but the first time I'd ever seen it was after I moved here to Montana. But we've lived here in Montana about 30 years now. So I've seen it a few times. We usually only get it like once or twice a year. But I remember the first time I saw it, it was like, whoa, what the heck? Um, thunder and lightning with snow. But it was pretty funny. And this guy he was like, now in the Midwest, they have this thing they call snow. Heck, here in Britain, if we get half an inch of snow, it's time to go buy extra bread and milk. And these guys think nothing of having thunder and lightning mixed with their snow. They think it's neat. They go out and driving in it. It's like, it was really funny. Oh dear. Oh boy, Cindy, that sounds like it could be an interesting day for you. You get it there in Maine too? Yeah, and it doesn't happen often, but it's rather I find it rather intriguing and interesting. I've always liked lightning storms anyway, as long as I can get in, in a safe place. But then mix snow with it, and it's like, whoa, that's pretty neat. So he was going on about that, though, about how in Britain, if they get just a little bit of snow, they get freaked out. But you guys, you think nothing of, oh, there's thunder snow. It's a 2 inches of snow on the ground. Oh, they're still going to school, and we're freaking out at half an inch. It's like, we're like, yeah, well, so it was pretty funny. I was really amused. Of course, in Western Washington, where I grew up, if we have thunder and lightning, we're going to have a torrential downpour just about. And here we get dry lightning frequently, and that is not cool. But so the first time I saw dry lightning is when I went with my husband to visit his family in Wisconsin the first time, and it was an experience for me, because it was like, whoa, what the heck? Why are we having where's the rain? We should be having a ton of rain to go along with this lightning, and we didn't. So, but this fellow, I think his name is Josh. He was saying, oh, he was just flabbergasted that we had. They think it's neat. I think it's the apocalypse coming, kind of thing. It was really funny. So Yeah, if you're a friend on my channel, on my normal channel, by all means go and check it out because it is really funny. Yeah, yeah, they're really interesting and funny, aren't they, Mary? And so, and there he was also talking today about different things that we say that they don't say in Britain, like brain check. Why are you discussing weather when you want to do something? Or if they let's table that. Well, in Britain, if you'd said let's table it, well, then that's what's on the discussion for the day. It's like, and you guys are saying no, we don't want to discuss it. It's like so. It was sort of amusing me how the different things and the viewpoints of the these young fellows. He was, and another thing he was discussing was, you guys think it's nothing at all to drive 45 minutes to go to the Target or the Walmart, whereas 45 minutes in Britain is going to get us halfway across the country. Just like, true. When we were in Ireland, the first night we were there, we got in relatively early and we were too early to go to our bed and breakfast. So we flew into Dublin and then we decided to drive up to Belfast. We didn't think anything of it. It's not that far, not for by our standards. But when we got back to our bed and breakfast in Rush, the our hostess was just absolutely flabbergasted that we had drove up to Belfast that day and we're back down at our hotel. And they just thought it was just the most amazing thing. She was just flabbergasted had done that, and I'm like, it's not that far, you know, but it's halfway across the country. It's still not that far, but well, we only need 4. Now, see, we might not even need this big, but I think we will need this size. These are 6mm oval jump rings. But yeah, they're really funny to watch in my opinion, and they just think we are just they seem to really like it here. I know when they go to various food places, they're always going, "Ooh, this is, this is different and this is good." And but the one I really love their take on some of the things that we just don't think anything of. and and they act like it's just something extraordinary. So I think they're pretty funny and nice and good to watch. And it is an entirely different viewpoint, the British people, than these young British boys that, we think anything of it. They're not really that young, I suppose. They just seem young to me because, I'm not in my 30s anymore. Haven't been for a while. So then we're going to go. And yeah, you can see that extra little bit is what we need there for these blue ones. And so what we're going to do now is we're going to take our strands and we're going to bring them over and we're going to hook them up on this side here. I'm going to do this brown one first, just because it's going to be no jump ring. It's just going to go straight from the strand. And we want to come around and hook right here. So we're going to open this up. We're going to bring our piece around like this. Now you can unhook it if you want. I'm leaving it hooked because it makes it easier for me to tell which direction I need to go. And then I'm going to close the brown one here, back up. Now we're going to take each of our blue ones. We're going to open up our jump ring. Hook it onto our last one here. Then we're going to pick this back up. Come on, baby. And we're going to see which one we need to go into, which is this one. So now we'll get this one and close it up. And now we just have our last blue one to put on for this side. We'll hook this in here. And we're going to hook up our slider clasp so we have it the way it needs to go. Go down there. And then we will hook it up into its spot. And there is our second 2-strand bracelet. Now the blue ones actually ended up, looks like they ended up looking a little touch longer than the brown one, but that's not that big of a deal. It's not that much different in length, just barely. And it actually sort of falls in place pretty nicely. So we can just, now this one isn't as long as I normally make them. I thought I had cut that brown one long enough, but this one's a shorter one. It's only going to be 6 3/4 inches. But it did turn out really, really pretty. I don't think I can get this one to fit me because it is 6 3/4 and my wrist is about 7. But in order to put it on and off, you just take your slider clasp, get where you belong, and just pull one side and it pulls apart like so. Then you just have to bring this side up and slide it through the loop, and see it's about a 1/2 inch, 1/4 inch to a 1/2 inch too short for me, probably more like 1/2 inch. So I can't wear it, but it did turn out pretty. So no, this clasp does not add a lot of length. What adds length, I always forget when I make them this way, is when you, because I attach straight to it, a lot of times when I'm making this type of, using this type of clasp, I'm also using, wire. And when you use wire, of course, you've got the extra little bit from where you've crimped, which this one didn't have. Now, if I did want to make it longer, the easiest way to do that would be to add more jump rings in here. You know, like I might put jump rings on both of the wood ones, which I didn't put jump rings on, and then a secondary jump ring on the blue ones, and that would make it longer as well. But since not everybody has a large wrist, somebody might want it that has a smaller wrist. You need to copy a little? By all means, go for it. So there is our second 3-strand bracelet. And like I say, this one is made using rosary chain. And if you've got pre-made rosary chain like this wood one was, way simple to make these because then you just got to hook it on. This clasp does not add the length like this one did. So there's two different styles of multi-strand necklaces, and they're just different because of the way we got them clasped. This one, we put all three into a deep bead cap, pulled all 3 strands through a deep bead cap to form the ends. This one is got a 3-strand slide clasp on it. And as we were just discussing, this one doesn't take up nearly as much room as for a clasp as this one, because see, if we were to put this here, see the difference in length is quite a bit, because this would be the end of our clasp, because this would be where it would start right here, so it matches our jump ring here, bring it over here, and we're way down here on this one. So there's our 2 3-strand bracelets. Oh, come on. Spread out properly so you don't look like a big glob. Still looks like a big glob. Yep. The different closures make a big difference. Like I said, I do also have, did I put it away? I might have flipped it away already. Yeah, it is. There it is. The multi-strand clasps come in a lot of different styles. They're these kind, the slide. This is a box clasp, a 2-strand box clasp. See, it's got 2 strand spots on either side. Now, this is one of the very rare times I would use probably a wire guardian, and that's because these holes do not look, yeah, they're a little teeny bit rough. Now, I don't usually use wire guardians, especially since I use Softflex wire and it doesn't really need them, number one. And number two, the one time I've had a wire strand break, it was right on the edge of a wire guardian. Wire guardian is another piece of metal, and they can be sharp there too. So when I'm using a wire guardian, I will always check and rub my finger around the edge and make sure that it is not got any sharp spots. If it does, I'll throw that wire guardian out, because it's going to rip my wire up just as easily as any other place will. But this one I'd probably use a wire guardian with, because there is a sharp little spot right there. I can feel it with my finger. I might be able to get rid of it with my file by filing it, but I couldn't guarantee that, and I'd want to guarantee that. But though that looks like pretty small holes for a wire guardian, we'd have to check them. But this is a box clasp, and it's specifically for 2 strands. Now, my mom's jewelry that I remember from a kid always had box clasps, either that or a slider box clasp. Which kit had one of those in it recently? And I'd show you it if it did, but I think it was just a single slot one. But it's the kind that's got the box, but then your slider piece, you push it together, pull it out, and then turn it and pull it out, because the piece that goes through your box is a loop-like thing. And so my parents and my grandma and my mom's jewelry all had those 2 types of box clasps for closures when I was a kid. So I'm very aware of those. But let's turn up here for a second. some reason my screen is looking dark to me. I hope it's not. Well, no, it's not on my tablet, which I watch on. And I have all my lights on, so it's weird. But anyway, so there's our bracelets, our 3-strand rosary chain with the slide clasp, and the 3-strand with the um, bead caps. And yes, they do take up a lot more space when you're using the lobster claw, or give you a lot more gap. Um, and like I said, the other way to do it is one we didn't make, but I have made in the past, and that's using the rings and just crimping onto a ring on either side for a multi-strand. So I hope you guys enjoyed making these bracelets with me, and my beadbox bargain, my new bargain beadbox is supposed to be here today, so we'll be taking a look at that tomorrow, and unless it doesn't show up for some reason, and I think we'll have fun with that. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this. We've been on for almost 3 hours. I think it's definitely time to call it a day, and we'll see you all tomorrow morning. Bye-bye. This has been Rose from In Rose's Garden.